So we have some pretty interesting news regarding the Nintendo Switch. I know by now a lot of people may not like these rumors. I keep talking about a lot of rumors for the Switch, but you have to realize a lot of these rumors are interesting, and on top of that, some of these become real. You may remember a couple of months ago I talked about how the Assassin's Creed game was coming to the Nintendo Switch, and what happened? That rumor actually turned out to be real, and in fact we are getting Assassin's Creed 3 on the Switch. Granted, it's much more an older Assassin's Creed game, and on top of that, it doesn't look physically all that great on the Nintendo Switch. But sometimes these rumors can be fun to talk about, and sometimes these rumors do come true, so it's still very interesting to talk about a lot of rumors when it comes to the Nintendo Switch or a lot of different game consoles. So when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, it looks like we do indeed have another rumor. This time we have another rumor of a Gearbox game coming to the Nintendo Switch. Gearbox recently tweeted out something that looks like it may actually happen on the Switch. Take a look at this image from the official Twitter page from Gearbox, and what do we have? Yep, it looks like we have an image of what looks like Borderlands. Now, I'm not sure if this is Borderlands 1, or if this is Borderlands 2, or this is Borderlands the pre-sequel, but it looks like we have some type of Borderlands image, and a lot of people are speculating in some form from this picture that Borderlands may be indeed coming to the Nintendo Switch. A lot of people are actually talking about how Borderlands 2 may be coming to the Switch, and that actually makes a lot of sense because Borderlands 2 is pretty much on every platform known to man. So if you have a platform, you can pretty much play Borderlands 2. But what platform is Borderlands 2 currently not on? Yep, Borderlands 2 is currently not on the Switch, so it would make sense Gearbox and 2K would want to bring Borderlands 2 over to the Nintendo Switch. Fun fact, there's actually already a portable version of Borderlands 2 already out, and that's on the Vita. Of course, the Vita is pretty much already dead. A lot of people don't care about the Vita, and on top of that, Borderlands 2 really played horribly on the Vita. If you ever played the Vita version, then you'll know very well that that game played bad. It didn't have a lot of enemies on screen, and on top of that, the frame rate was bad in that game, and on top of that, the way you move around the world wasn't that great because you didn't have too much good camera. You didn't have too much good controls, let me say that way. You're pretty much playing with the thumbsticks on the PS Vita. Even for the PS Vita, though, you do have to take in consideration that was pretty much a mind-blowing game. To get a full-blown console game into your pocket was pretty much mind-blowing, but since they already put that on a portable device, it would make sense they would want to put it on the Nintendo Switch. That would pretty much be an updated PS Vita version of Borderlands 2, so I don't see why not. Like I said, it's on every platform already out there, so it would be easy to port to the Nintendo Switch, and on top of that, they already have a mobile version of this with the PlayStation Vita version of this, so they do have a mobile version of this, so everything's lining up, and it looks like Borderlands 2 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And here's something I do want to talk about when we're talking about Borderlands 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch. I'm actually very excited for this game to come to the Switch because that is actually one of my favorite games of last generation. You guys don't even know how many times I bought Borderlands 2. I bought Borderlands 2 on the PC, 360, also the PS3. I even own the PS Vita version. That's because when I bought my PS Vita, I bought the PS Vita Slim bundle, and I think the first PS Vita bundle that came to America, that was the Slim version when they released it in America. You did have to go out and actually buy it with Borderlands, whether you liked it or not, and it did come with all the DLC. I'm actually quite curious to see what they're going to bring over if they do decide to bring over Borderlands 2 to the Nintendo Switch. Are we just talking about the main game? Are we talking about the main game and all the DLC? Because that game has a lot of DLC, and I think a lot of that DLC is actually worth playing when it comes to Borderlands 2, so it'll be very interesting to see that game come over to the Nintendo Switch. And on top of that, there is one thing I love about Borderlands 2, which definitely makes it one of my favorite games. I love the fact that this may be, in fact, the best co-op experience ever. I love the fact you can play this game with up to 4 players the whole entire game. And on top of that, when you play with up to 4 different people in your world, you pretty much get different pretty much get better loot when you play with more people. The more players equals better loot, and on top of that, I think enemies are going to be scaled a little bit harder because they know that you have 4 players out in the world. Let me say this really quickly. If you haven't played Borderlands 2, Borderlands 2 is pretty much an RPG, but it's not your traditional RPG. It's a first-person RPG, kind of like Fallout. If you ever played the Fallout series, it revolves around guns and it revolves around gunplay. The art style, of course, is very cartoony. It's very shell-shaded if you like shell-shaded games. Overall, I can't recommend Borderlands 2 enough. Borderlands 2 is definitely my favorite game of last generation, without a doubt. I've already spent over 1,000 hours into that game. I just love Borderlands 2. Even though I love Borderlands so much and I've invested so much time in the Borderlands 2 universe, I played multiple playthroughs, I played all the DLC like 4 or 5, 6 times. I just love Borderlands 2. Definitely my favorite game. If it does come to the Nintendo Switch, I'm going to say it right now, I'm not going to go out of my way to rebuy Borderlands 2 for a couple of reasons. First reason being is I've already spent so many hours into that game. I don't need to waste my money revisiting that world. Yes, it would be great to have Borderlands 2 on the Nintendo Switch so I can take this around portably and have a better version than the PS Vita version. This is like my dream version of Borderlands, but I've already played it so many times. I'm actually quite disappointed that Gearbox didn't release this game right away when they heard the Nintendo Switch was going to be a thing, because I thought to myself, Borderlands 2 would be perfect on the Nintendo Switch. It would be the ultimate Borderlands 2 games, and they already have it on Vita, so why wouldn't they want to bring it over to another mobile platform or another portable device that's going to play much more better than the watered-down PS Vita version? But it is what it is, and I definitely see it coming to the Nintendo Switch. And on top of that, I do have a gripe with this game, why I'm not buying it on the Nintendo Switch, because when you know in this game, if it does come to the Nintendo Switch, which I'm highly sure this might actually be real, everything's lining up that it would make sense, they would want this game on the Nintendo Switch. When this game does come to the Nintendo Switch, my biggest gripe is going to be that this game, again, just like so many other ports on the Nintendo Switch, is going to be $60 without a doubt, and that's really the problem I have with this game. Now, for newcomers of Borderlands, honestly, it's still going to be a very hard thing to swallow when you have to take in consideration if you own last generation hardware. That game is literally like always like $4 or $5. It is so cheap, and it's definitely worth every penny of $4 or $5. You're definitely going to get your money's worth. There's so much to do in Borderlands and so much gameplay, so much replayability. If you have last generation, buy it. If you don't have last generation hardware and you have things like, for instance, the PS4 or the Xbox One, then you can buy that game right now, and it's still going to be cheaper than if Borderlands comes to the Nintendo Switch. Of course, you won't have a portable version of Borderlands 2, so you can't take it on the go and play at home on your big screen, flat screen TV or whatever the case may be, but you're going to be saving yourself a lot of money, considering that on the PS4 and the Xbox One, you're only paying, I think normally right now it goes for around $20 on current gen hardware, and then you have to take in consideration, I think that's also the Handsome Jack collection, so I think you do get Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, Borderlands the pre-sequel. I could be wrong about Borderlands the pre-sequel, but either way, I do know it's more than just one Borderlands game, and on top of that, it's all the DLC, so who knows what they're going to do for the Nintendo Switch. Are we talking about a collection on the Nintendo Switch? Are we talking about Borderlands 2? Are we talking about Borderlands 1? Who really knows what they're putting on the Nintendo Switch, but Borderlands 2 seems more like the likely game if they're not going to go out and do a collection for the Nintendo Switch. That's really my only gripe. I don't like it when these games that are like 4, 5, 6 years old come out for the Nintendo Switch, and what do we have to pay? We have to pay $60 for this game. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure when it came out, when they re-released it for the PS4 and Xbox One, you most likely had to buy that game probably for $60 as well, and then pretty soon the price got knocked down. But the problem with the Nintendo Switch, it seems like even years after games come out, like for instance, you look at Skyrim, you look at Doom, for some reason they're still holding their price very high. They're actually still going for over $50 for games that are already like 8, 9, 7 years old, very old games. I don't understand that. I guess because it's current gen stuff, and you guys know that Nintendo Switch or Nintendo games in general always hold more value than other systems, so I guess I can see why some games still hold their value very well, but it does suck that you would have to be paying $60 for a game that's right now dirt cheap. If you own last gen, if you own current gen, it's $20. I'm just not very happy with this. I wish some way some of these ports that were coming over to current gen hardware would be like $40. But then again, I guess the case could be for those developers who are like, a lot of people didn't play these games, so it would be their first time buying this game, so they're not re-buying this game, so they're going to have to pay $60, and they're probably fine paying $60 for a game that's very outdated. And then you have to also take in consideration as well, a lot of people only own a Nintendo Switch. They don't own other platform, so they don't own a PS4, an Xbox One, or a PC, so they're going to go out and buy this game because this is the only platform they have. But then again, it does suck that you're going to be paying $60 for some of these games that are old games coming to the Nintendo Switch, and especially if you have a gaming PC as well. I wanted to make this really quick as well. You can get this game on Steam so cheap with all the DLC, and they do a lot of deals. I've seen Borderlands 2 go on sale so many times when it comes to Steam. So if you're on Steam, look out for that deal, and you might as well just pull the trigger by then, because it's going to be like $7, $8. I do remember it being like multiple times. It always seems like that game is on sale. But either way, the fact that it's rumored that Borderlands 2 or some type of Borderlands game may be coming to the Nintendo Switch is absolutely fantastic. Either way, what I'm saying is this is my favorite game almost ever. Probably not as of right now, but it is my favorite last-gen game, and this game is definitely worth buying. So if it does come to the Nintendo Switch and you want to drop $60, I still think this game holds up well. I still think this game is worth $60. It's going to be interesting if they add the multiplayer aspect to this game, where you can play this game with 4 people co-op. I don't know if Nintendo Switch's online service would even be able to handle something like Borderlands with all 4 people playing online at the same time. That would absolutely be nuts and absolutely be crazy. But either way, if you have a way to play Borderlands 2, definitely play Borderlands 2. It's definitely getting a pass for me, and I've put in over easily 1,000 hours in my lifetime playing Borderlands 2. But anyway, that's the news. Borderlands 2 may be coming to the Nintendo Switch. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.